Alright fuckers, we're back with the Football Manager 2018, 5 years into Scottish Football series. The next team we're going to cover is going to be Partick Thistle. Yes, the forgotten club in Glasgow, or should I say the outskirts of Glasgow. You know, we can have a geography battle all you want, you can argue day in, day out. Some people will say Partick Thistle is a Glaswegian team, some people will say they're no, but I'm going to go ahead and say they are, and that's who we're doing next. Now, Partick Thistle, interesting save in Football Manager. They always seem to perform well. I don't know why. I've did so many saves over the past, 3-4 Football Managers, and Partick Thistle always seem to be, first season at least, always seem to be a top 6 club that challenge for, European spaces. Now, I'm not saying they're pish in real life, but I do think for some reason Football Manager overrates them. Chris Doolan seems to turn into, Cristiano Ronaldo. And Christian Eriksen seems to turn into Lionel Messi. So, you know, it is what it is. We'll see how they get on in this time around. Other rivals for Partick Thistle, Motherwell, Hamilton, Clyde and Airdrie. Clyde and Airdrie being historic rivalries. I'm surprised that Rangers and Celtic aren't considered rivals. But you know what? It is what it is. Finances are okay. Average season ticket price, £258. I've got over 4,000 season ticket holders, which is it's not bad, I guess. And the average ticket price is £23. Nickname the Jags, 2.5 star ratings. Right, we've covered the basics. Let's see how Partick Thistle got on. Can they overachieve once again in a Football Manager save? Okay, so very quiet first season here of Partick Thistle. Brought in 2 players, both on loan. Martin Boyle for Hibernian and Kyle McAllister for Derby. And they've loaned out Harry Granger, Ian Stokes, and then Gary Fraser's left on a free to Bradford City. So basically not much changes there. Martin Boyle, he should be a good signing for Partick Thistle. He's still at Partick Thistle, so it looks like they made that loan signing permanent. 5 years later, he's still at Partick Thistle. His stats are, they're not the best. I'm looking at his speed stats, and I can't really see pace 14. I thought he had more pace than that. Oh, so he doesn't seem to be the best player in Football Manager. He's not developed as well as I thought he would have. I think he's better than that. He's only worth 38k now, so be interested to see how he gets on. But yeah, Partick Thistle not really making many changes to the team. Let's see if they have a successful season or not. As I was saying, Partick always seem to do well in Football Manager, and they've done it once again, finishing 3rd in their first season, finishing above Hearts, Aberdeen and Hibernian. That is great stuff there. 10 points behind Rangers and a whopping 43 behind Celtic, but no matter what they've done, they've overachieved, and that will guarantee them a place in Europe next season. So already Partick Thistle off to a tremendous start, strong start. Should be getting a bit extra money in that for that. Will they be able to improve the club, European football next season? Definitely an interesting time here to be a Partick Thistle fan. We'll check how they got on in the cups in their first season. Can they even have a cup run? Maybe bring some silverware to Firhill. That'd be tremendous if they can do that. Alright, so then you see, got through past the Betfred Cup group stage with wins against Edinburgh City, Albion Rovers and Arlo. A pretty easy group there. Did lose to Dunfermline, which was kind of surprising. And then in the Betfred Cup second round, they got beat at home against Dundee on penalties, which will be disappointing. But hey man, they finished 3rd in the league, so I highly doubt they care about anything else. Scottish Cup 4th round, good win against Hibernian there at Easter Road. So looks like Partick Thistle could be on to a decent cup run here. Goals for Connor Salmon, Jordan Turnbull and Cristiano Doolan. Scottish Cup 5th round, a win against Dumbarton that season into the quarterfinals now, where they picked up a draw at Celtic Park. Holy shit. Partick were leading 2-0 unfortunately, but not unfortunately. Unfortunately, Celtic came back and pegged them level. Goals for Musa Magrera and Lee Griffiths there, getting Celtic a valuable replay, but it will be held at Firhill, but unfortunately they can't take advantage of it. Lee Griffiths giving Celtic the winner. 10,000, pretty good attendance there in this quarter-final cup game. Celtic brought almost 1,000 fans with them as well. But unfortunately, that is where Partick Thistle's cup run ends. And then you can see that they got into the Championship League group, and they only picked up 1 win, but it was a convincing 3-0 home win against Rangers. Adam Barton, Connor Salmon and Chris Eriksen getting the goals. So yeah, very good start to this series for Partick Thistle. Tremendous first season, finishing 3rd in the league. Not great in the cups, but they did pick up a good win against Hibernian, and they got a great draw at Celtic Park. So I'll give them a lot of confidence going into next season. Can they bring in some decent players, improve the squad, and try and repeat this and have the same success next season? Let's see. Alright, well, this is kind of disappointing to see. I was expecting Partick to build on that first good season. It hasn't really happened. I'm looking at the players they've brought in. There's nobody really of note. They brought in Lewis Fong from Rafe Rovers for 72k, which I think they've overpaid for him. Let's check out if he's any decent. Well, he's currently valued at 230. He no longer plays for Partick Thistle. Obviously, he's moved to Hamilton in the space of those 5 years. But you know what? Maybe it was a good signing. He has increased in price. His stats don't look the worst in the world, so maybe that wasn't too bad. They managed to bring in Kieran Freeman from Southampton, and he's currently playing at Partick Thistle. So they must have got him permanently. He looks like a good player. It'll be interesting to see how he does career stats. So yeah, he went to Southampton, came on loan, then went to loan Dundee, then loan Partick Thistle, loan Morton, and eventually went to Partick Thistle again after 2 loan spells. So Kieran Freeman, I don't know if that's the same Kieran Freeman that's predicted to be a Scottish wonder kid. I think it is. Yeah, I think it is, but he doesn't seem to have developed. He's only worth 500k years down the line. So that's strange there. Right, where the fuck were we? Yeah, so you go, brought Jamie Lindsay on a free, who I thought he played for Partick Thistle anyway. No, he played for Celtic. I'm getting myself mixed up. I must be thinking Liam. I'm thinking of Liam Lindsay. Ah, shit. So you go, bringing in some players, but I expect them to bring in a lot more and improve the team, especially with finishing third and being in Europe. And unfortunately, they've sold quite a few other players. Christy Elliott went to Dundee. Milan Netranskis went to, I don't even know who the fuck that is, Prebiam. Neil McLaughlin is went on loan to Brecklin. Jamie Snedden went up to Dunfermline. There you go, Jamie Lindsay, which is disappointing. They just brought him in on a free, and he's already went to Hibernian less than 6 months later, so that's sad to see. But yeah, I mean, Partick Thistle, I definitely thought they would have improved the squad a lot more than this, but turns out that is not the case. Will it affect them in their second season? Let's go find out, and let's see how they got on with European football. Alright, so it looks like Partick Thistle have come back down to reality. You can see finishing 8th, 5 places lower than they did last season. This time it was Hamilton who finished 3rd, which is kind of a shock, surprise result there. So Hamilton finishing 3rd in the Scottish Premiership. Partick Thistle, who were covering, finishing 8th, 42 points. Never really in any danger of getting relegated, but nowhere near that 3rd place finish got last season. But, you know, 8th, probably a realistic target for them. You know, I think if Partick Thistle got 8th, I don't think you could complain with that in real life. I think 8th's whereabouts they should be finishing at best. That's what I think of Partick Thistle. No disrespect to Partick Thistle, but I don't believe they're top 6 team. And I think if they finish 8th every season, staying in the Premier League, I think they would take that, and I don't think they should be any higher than that based on the quality of the squad. So yeah, 8th for Partick Thistle. I think that's another decent season. Did lose 20 games though, which is quite a lot. But who cares about that? They managed to stay in the league, and that is all that matters. Let's see how they got on in Europe though. Considering the transfers, I'm not too optimistic. I wouldn't be surprised if it's an exit at the earliest stage possible, but we'll see. Alright, so a favourable tie in the Europa League first qualifying round against Bala. Managed to go through 6-0 in aggregate, so that was good. Second qualifying round, they got a tie against, I don't even know who this team is. If you've never heard of them, they must be shit. That's basically how I decide if a team's good or not. Skendern Bua, and again, Partick Thistle beat them comfortably 4-0 in aggregate. So far, the past 2 rounds, scored 10 goals, haven't conceded a goal. That's very good if you look at it from that perspective, but again, they've been playing absolutely nobody's. Next round, they did step up the competition against FK Austria Vienna, and this is when their journey ended a 2-1 defeat at Firhill, followed by a 3-0 defeat in Austria, and Partick Thistle go out of the competition 5-1 on aggregate. Adam Barton there getting sent off in the second leg, doing his team and his fans no favours. Only 52 away fans went to see them play in Austria, so that's fucking shocking. To the 52 fans that went, well done for you guys. For the rest of the city of Partick, or fucking hell, that didn't go, I mean, hang your heads in shame. European FIPA, massive tie here. I mean, it was only 2-1, so they were still in it. You know what I mean? Let's not make it they got humped in the first leg. They were still in it. Still had a chance to come through, yet they only took 52 fans. That's terrible. Absolutely shocking. Betfred Cup, decent win against Rafe at home 3-0 before losing to Hibernian in the quarter final. And then you can see Ladbrokes Premiership. Some good patches of form followed by some bad patches of form. Scottish Cup were at 4th round, out against Dundee United, and then they finished the season here pretty poorly. Then they got into the relegation group, picked up a few wins. So yeah, there you go, man. Overall, I'd say it's a decent season for Partick Thistle. They will have enjoyed their European Cup run. They got 2 very favourable ties, but still got through them comfortably, which is pretty good. And then first leg, they didn't disgrace themselves against Austria Vienna. The only disgrace, unfortunately, was the fans that never bothered to show up to the second leg. So anyway, guys, that is it for Season 2 of Partick Thistle. Let's see, have they made any improvements going to Season 3? Will they have got any extra money in for the Europa League? Can they improve on 8th place in the SPL? Can they improve? Can they? Fuck, they've went and sold Ryan Edwards for 1.2 million, possibly rising to 1.7. So perhaps he impressed in Europe, and Legia Warsaw have ended up coming in for the 28-year-old Australian, and they have bought him. He's now valued at 2.1 million. The stats look pretty decent. We'll see how he's got on since leaving Partick Thistle. Yeah, look at his rating, 7.5 for them, 7.05, 7.3. So looks like Ryan Edwards is performing pretty well at Liega. And yeah, he's done well. I think Partick Thistle probably got a decent amount from 1.2 million. I'm not surprised they've sold, especially with another 500k add-ons. So I don't blame them for selling. What I do blame them for doing is not bringing in more players. I mean, they brought in Calvin Miller for Celtic, Liam Kelly for Rangers on frees, 100k on Daniel L. Armstrong, almost 100k on Dom Thomas. But I mean, apart from that, they got him 1.2 million for one player and only decided to bring in 200k worth of talent. A lot of players on a free, but I mean, these players are free for a reason. They're not very good. So I just thought Partick Thistle might have spent a bit more of the money that they received for Ryan Edwards. Will it come back to haunt them? How will they perform without one of their star men in Season 3? Let's see. And there you go. So it's another season, Partick Thistle, probably just about achieving their expectations. Finishing 9th this time, a place lower than last season. But, again, avoiding relegation, and that is really all that matters. They did get a lot less wins, a lot less losses than last year, but they got less wins, and perhaps the teams around them stepped up a bit. But, I mean, 9th place, pretty decent for Partick Thistle. Obviously, this season, no European football to look forward to, but they did have some Betfred Cup football, which is not quite the same, but hey, it's still a tournament, and unfortunately didn't get out the group stage. So yeah, wins against Queen's Park, Peterhead and Kilmarnock meant nothing in the end, as they failed to win the last group game against Queen and South, and that sent them out of the competition. So yeah, they didn't advance any further than that. Scottish Cup 4th round, they got a win against Dumbarton. Scottish Cup 5th round, forced a tie against Dunfermline. They won the tie away from home at East End Park. Brought over 1,500 fans to East End Park, but they could only take 52 to Austria. Scottish Cup quarter final, a good 1-0 away win against Dundee United. Making the semi-final, getting to Hampden against Celtic. You could call this an old firm derby, I guess. Not an old firm, a Glasgow derby. Not quite the same as Rangers Celtic, but hey, it's some better than nothing. And Celtic getting the win, sending Partick Thistle home. At least they didn't have far to travel home, I guess. That's the only consolation. Celtic actually went down to 9 men. Both sending-offs came late, though. Perhaps Partick Thistle didn't have enough time to take advantage of that, and it meant that they lost 1-0. But hey, man, decent cup run, getting to the semi-final, getting to Hampden. I think it's been a good season. It's been a good series so far for Partick Thistle. Fuck me. Why do I struggle so much with the English language? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. So yeah, I mean, first season, 3rd in the league. Second season, we had European FIPA. 3rd season, got to Hampden, semi-final of the Scottish Cup. Narrowly losing out to Celtic. It's been pretty good so far for Partick Thistle as we head into the 4th season. Can they keep this up? Let's see. Alright, so 4th season, it seems like Partick Thistle have evened up the books a little bit more. Although they have sold a lot of players, they have brought in... they've actually spent more bringing in players than they've sold, so that's always good to see. It means they're spending a bit more money on the team. They brought in Kieran Freeman again on loan for Southampton. We already know he ends up with the club, but still. Brought in Jordan McGee for an exchange for Hibernian. Part of an exchange must have been for Niall Keown, so they got 70k plus Jordan McGee, which I guess is a pretty good deal. Managed to bring in Ross Callaghan, who's probably left Hearts, I guess. He would have left on a free, he's now 29. Yeah, his stats ain't the best, but I guess it's decent enough for free. Andrew Shinnie, who's a good player. He's no longer at Partick Thistle, but they managed to get him at the time when he would have still been relatively good, so that's no bad. Bringing in a few players for Rangers and Celtic on loan. Bringing in Conrad Ballatoni, Kyle McGuinness for St Mirren. Looks like he's going to be a good talent in the future. He's valued at 325k, so looks like that's a good bit of business. Bringing in Jan Alnwick, the former Rangers man, valued at 475k now, so again, looks like they've done good business there. Only paid 150 and is now valued at almost 3 times that. So, yeah, Partick Thistle doing well in terms of players have sold. Niall Keown going, Adam Barton, Daniel Armstrong, Andrew. Oh my God, they've sold Andrew Shinnie already. So they managed to get Andrew Shinnie on a free, and then they sold him for. Well, I guess it's not bad. They made 130k. So if you look at it that way, they did all right there. They got him for like 5 months, and then sold him for 130k, so it's 130k into the Partick Thistle bank. But let's see how that plays out on the field there. I think they'll be alright. They've brought in some decent players. I think they're going to improve on 9th place in the league, let's see. Alright, so I was wrong, they didn't improve. They actually had the exact same season, finished 9th again, and on the same points, 42 points again. So, again, I suppose look at the bright side, they managed to avoid relegation. And like I said, I think around that 8th, 9th, 10th, I think that's where Partick Thistle should be coming. I think that has to be their aim for the start of the season. They're one of these clubs that just have to try to avoid relegation. You know, I think they're kind of similar to Hamilton, even though Hamilton have, did well again this season, finishing top 6. I think Partick Thistle, Hamilton, they're the kind of clubs where, just try and stay in the league. And if you can have a good season, maybe a surprise top 6 finish, maybe a surprise cup run, then, you know what, great. But I think their main goal is just surviving relegation. And they've done that here for the 4th consecutive season. Again, managing to get the Betfred Cup, but just like last season, they've ran into Celtic, not in the Scottish Cup this time though, Betfred Cup, but it's the same result, they've lost again. Unfortunately, they did manage to take it to extra time, but Scott Sinclair goal 3 minutes from time was enough to bury Partick Thistle, and then Partick Thistle losing again to them in the league next game, 2-1, so it's unfortunate for them, just running into a very tough tie against Celtic in the second round. League form wasn't the best around this period. That's safe to say. Dumbarton there, beating them in the first Scottish Cup 4th round, and a good win over Cowdenbeath. Before Lewis, oh my God, they got Celtic again, this time in the quarter-final of the Scottish Cup. It wasn't close this time at all, man. It was a complete... Oh my, look at that, Jack Wilshere plays for Celtic, so the goals come from Lee Griffiths, Jack Wilshere, and Stephen Berguis. And just a massive difference in quality between Celtic and Partick Thistle. And it kind of shows there in that result. And then they finished off the league pretty strongly. They're picking up 3 wins out of their last 6 games, including 2 draws and that solitary defeat to Dundee. So there you go, man. Partick Thistle, again, staying in the league. Unlucky getting Celtic in both of the cups. I'd consider that a pretty, I think it was a decent season. Did alright in the league. And it took Celtic to knock them out of both cups. So again, I mean, you can't really hope for much more being a Partick Thistle fan. Let's see how they got on in their 5th and final season. Alright, so this time, no money spent, but they did bring in Martin Boyle on a free. Lee Wallace left Rangers on a free, maybe coming towards the end of his career. I still think that's a very good signing. Let's make no mistake about it. He might be older now, past his prime, but I think Lee Wallace will do good things for Partick Thistle. Stats are still relatively good at 35 years of age. And some other signings there, all frees and loans, nothing major apart from the Martin Boyle and Lee Wallace signings. And they didn't really sold Lewis Fong to Hamilton, but apart from that, not much happening. So again, I think Partick Thistle, I actually think they've improved their team here by bringing in Martin Boyle and Lee Wallace alone. They did sell Lewis Fong, but I think those 2 signings they brought in have made up for that. How will they get on? I think they'll survive again. I'll be surprised if they go down. I don't think they're going to, have a tremendous season, but I'd expect similar to what they have the past couple of seasons, maybe finish around that 9th place again. Oh, and they did. Holy shit, look at that. 9th again, this time slightly less points, but 3 seasons in a row, they finished 9th, survived relegation. Can't complain with that. They got holy shit, they got like a record number of draws here, 14 in total, which was quite a lot. And that will, set them back a bit. And, if they could have just maybe turned half of those draws into wins, who knows, maybe they could have managed a top 6 finish, but it wasn't to be. Although staying in the league, 9th place, I think that's pretty decent part of it. So again, we'll check the cups and we'll check out what the squad's looking like going forward, then we'll end it from there. So again, Betfred Cup managing to get out of the group stage, this time losing to Hibernian in the second round. Partick Thistle always seeming to get tough draws here in these cups. They lost to Hibernian 3-1. Michael McCluskey and Robert McKenzie getting 2 goals. 2 sending offs, Calvin Miller and Paul McMullen. So yeah man, the guys, some feisty tackles going in that game for sure. Scottish Cup 4th round. 2 good wins here against Dundee and Dunfermline, getting them into the quarter-finals, where they got a draw against Rangers at Firhill, forcing a replay. Unfortunately, couldn't manage a win in the replay, losing at Ibrox 3-1. And so that sends them out of the cup. Again, another tough draw, man. Partick Thistle always seem to get the hard teams in the cups. And then the relegation playoffs, they had really good form there towards the end. Look at that. Unbeaten in the relegation group playoff, and maybe that actually kept them up, who knows. So have a quick look again at the league table. Finished on 38 points. Yeah, actually, I was talking about them getting top 6, but it looks like going into that split, they might have actually been in a relegation battle. So, you know what, picking up those 3 wins in the final 5 games might just have been the thing that kept Partick Thistle in the league. Alright, so going forward, here is the current Partick Thistle squad. They've got a bunch of good players. Look at that. I mean, they've got the whole page full of players that are worth $250,000 or more. You've got Miles Stories, Jordan McGee, Kel McGuinness, Jamie Robson, Kieran Freeman worth $500k, Danny Define worth $275, Stuart Bannigan worth $2 million, Don Thomas worth $3.4 million. I think things are looking good for Partick Thistle. It looks like he's going to be a great player. He's already got a cap for the under-21s. No caps for the international team yet, but like I say, man, he looks like he's going to be a really good player in the future. And I think with that squad, the Partick Thistle, I see them being in the Premier League for a very long time. I'll be highly surprised if they go down. So I think with that squad, Partick Thistle will remain a Premier League regular in years to come. And it'll be interesting to see when we do the 10 years, just if they can improve, or they just 9th, 8th, 10th, is that going to be where they finish in, the foreseeable future. So guys, let me know down below, what team do you want me to see do next? I'm probably going to do all the Scottish Premiership teams and maybe a couple of other teams that I fancy doing from the lower leagues, and then we'll probably finish this season, and then next time we'll start from 10 years, and then we'll go back to Rangers, Celtic, and all the teams I was doing at the beginning. So, guys, there you go. It's been 5 years into Scottish football with Partick Thistle. I think it's been a success. I don't think you can argue Partick Thistle managed to finish 3rd the first season, got some European football, managed to get a couple of decent cup runs. Were stopped by the old firm, Hibernian, stopped by, bigger clubs. And, they've got a decent squad. They've assembled a good team here, players worth quite a lot of money, especially for at Partick Thistle's level, to have a player valued at 3.4 million and be able to hang on to him is pretty good. And as I stay in the Premiership, I'd say this has been a successful 5 years for Partick Thistle. Let me know what you think down below, and until next time, peace.